I remember going with her to a kind of like a conference. I forget, it was a woman who was talking about recovery and how devastating the diagnosis of mental illness is. And I remember the woman saying, it felt like I died. And my daughter said that is how it felt, because you have to kind of
don't really impact me as much as they do some other people.
I was in a mental hospital over in Oceanside where I tried 6 suicide attempts. I've tried that, so I got the marks on my body and to prove it.
Well, I hear and see things sometimes, and I have tactile hallucinations. Okay. Which is where I felt bugs on my body, and that's what I felt this morning.
That must be pretty scary.
It's very scary, and sometimes she just has to take her medicine and go to bed.
For myself, and from what I've known with people who are struggling with different disabilities, that alone time and that time to ourselves is not always a great place to be. It's not always a real positive place to be.
I was living in an RV when I first moved here, and pretty much isolating to myself.
Isolatory.
It's really very romantic story. I just think it's so profound that individuals who had a mental health diagnosis, they got together and they would meet and they would talk about their dreams and wanting to have a social outlet, have a place to get together and not be isolated from the community. Primarily, the board was made up of all individuals with a mental health diagnosis, which is amazing. And they just created this dream and then brought it to fruition. And they got the first county contract, and they were open just a few days a week for a few hours a day. And it just took off from there and evolved.
Dan Reese was not only the founder of the Meeting Place, he was an incredible advocate before we did the Meeting Place. The Meeting Place took 7 years from the vision to actually open the door.
Meeting Place has been really a program that has taken the Clubhouse movement ahead of its time here in San Diego. In many different ways. Started on a shoestring budget. The administration of the Meeting Place has really taken upon themselves to excel and go above and beyond what we, the county, can fund, and demonstrated to us in the community really the contribution to supporting clients with serious mental illness.
Dan wanted a place where where clients, mentally challenged people could come and feel at home, could be respected, could have an equal voice in how the place was run. He wanted to set it up so that they would have one-to-one support, so that they would really have a place they felt like they could call family, that they would know that they were safe there.
One of the major goals of the Clubhouse movement is, client self-direction, client choice, client recovery, and really if you will, normalizing people's lives, and really addressing and supporting and helping the individual attain his potential, and with support with peers. And that's the keystone of Clubhouse services and supports, is the camaraderie and the peer support.
When I first started, the typical clubhouses back then, where you came and you drank your coffee and you smoked your cigarettes and watched TV, even at that time, Sharon was very progressive.
Yeah, you didn't have anything like this before.
No,
so
I was just laying in bed all day.
Yeah, well, you couldn't even get out of the house.
I couldn't even go
couldn't even get in
anywhere.
the car. So, you know, it's been a real process of learning how to engage in life a lot
Have
more.
fun.
Yeah, have fun. And
I love coming here.
I come in, usually I'm oftentimes the receptionist in the morning, so oftentimes at 8, but usually, otherwise it's 9. And I come in, on those days I'm up front, I answer the phone, I talk to people, which I really love to do, which is something I really had trouble with before. And I do a lot of computer work, because I'm pretty good at it. And it depends on the rest of the day, what needs to be done. I often will help in the kitchen, because I also love to cook.
Well, when I got here, everybody was having lunch, so I had to, I didn't know about the tours or anything, but even though people were having lunch, they invited me to come in and sit with them. Everybody was just so friendly and welcoming when I first came, and it still continues that to this day.
It's been quite a journey. It's a lot of fun. No 2 days are the same, which is amazing, and really helps me a lot too, because I need to be doing all kinds of different things. I can't just be doing one thing. Having the flexibility to do the things that are fun to me and exciting, especially with the health and wellness aspect of the clubhouse. When I first came to the clubhouse, the members and staff had been doing walks and a little bit of stuff, a little towards the health and wellness, but I've seen since I've been here at the clubhouse a tremendous growth in the clubhouse kind of leading that charge in the community for integrative care between physical health and mental health.
I've gotten to see how the clubhouse has grown and all of the great things that they do. During that time, one of my children developed bipolar disorder while away at college, and so we had to take her out of college. She was 18. She was hospitalized for a number of weeks. So it was quite devastating to her, and eventually her dad and she agreed to start coming to the clubhouse.
When I first joined the Meeting Place, I was having a hard time adjusting to having schizophrenia. It wasn't working, staying at home most of the time with my parents, which was fine because they were gracious enough to have me and support me. But I had no friends. Hadn't had friends really since college. And I was kind of half-assed applying for work as an engineer. But it wasn't positive for me. And when I came into the clubhouse, things turned around really quickly.
I have schizoaffective disorder, which simply means I have schizophrenia features and I have bipolar features.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the more severe mental health challenges one can have.
About 12 years ago I was diagnosed and I'm bipolar, and I didn't want to accept that. So I worked one more job and I had to quit because I couldn't my depression was so strong, I couldn't get through the job.
Years ago, there was a point in my life I could not function, particularly in my teenage years, early, mid-teenage years. I was locked up for months at a time, and I couldn't function. I couldn't function in the outside world at all. There was a point I spent 7 months in jail because I endangered the lives of my children because I was in a
Oh, for
psychosis.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a drag. It was a long thing, scary. It was horrible ordeal.
But while I was living on the streets are cold. The sidewalk is hard. And if you don't have a sleeping bag or a blanket or hopefully a condo, like they call tents, the homeless people call the tents, condos. But I never had any of that. One night a guy did let me use a sleeping bag because it was going somewhere. But normally, living on the streets is just hard. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
I have suffered from depression for a long time, and in many ways I was driven to it because I had a very unhappy, my teenage years were filled with some extremely bad treatment. I was treated very badly, and it was very frightening. And I was confused and everything. So for years of my life, many years of my life, many times, I thought it was the end. And that's my depressive, and then there's the manic. But all I know is I thought it was the end many times.
One time when Emily had gotten home from the hospital, it was just after she tried to kill herself, and it was a really hard time. And people have to work. It's really hard, as a parent. You want, of course, that's like the worst thing you could ever have to your child. But not everyone can take off work, so it was a very scary time, and I can't even tell you how wonderful it was that she could come here and I could trust that she was safe here.
With her, I was injured, suffered a severe head injury 3 years ago, and it was pretty devastating. Thought that I could go back to work, and I quickly found out that there had been enough damage that some of my mental skills and my motor skills were diminished. And at the time I was working in a very high-functioning end of the construction industry here in San Diego. I've been in it for almost 30 years, and I couldn't do. And it was very frustrating. It was very dark. It was a very dark time. It was a very depressing time to have everything that you've had taken away, in a few minutes with the injury I suffered.
Something that happens when your illness impacts your ability to work is you lose a bit of your identity. Not that work is who we are, but work gives us purpose and work gives us structure. Many of us have worked towards all of our lives to be able to work and live and support ourselves. And when you're not able to do that, it makes you feel separated from a lot of the world. And for people that have recovered to the point where they want to work, the clubhouse is one of the greatest resources that they can use. And by work, I don't just mean working in paid employment. I mean coming into the clubhouse and helping out to run the clubhouse, whether it's in the kitchen or in one of the 2 units, working the front desk. It gives you something to focus on. It gives you an ability to rediscover your skills and to rediscover who you are and what you can be. And you're needed when you're a part of the clubhouse. You're needed and you're wanted.
I just think it's a great work environment. And also when I say I'm going to work, it is a job. We have, our lunches are organic and they're fantastic. The food here, they're very much into health and wellness. And that's great. We have all kinds of programs for exercise. They walk every day. And just the things that they do, it just really is special. So I love the Meeting Place Clubhouse.
I do like to cook. I found out how much I really enjoy cooking. And the stuff that is prepared here is well thought out. The menus are well thought out. And the food is fantastic. And trust me, I don't miss many meals. I love to eat. And the food is really good. So, working in the kitchen, preparing meals, serving the people, again, it's just physical and an activity and something you're doing something to feel proud of at the end of the day, for accomplishing something that day.
But I always left the clubhouse feeling like I had accomplished something and I had done something productive in my day, and that made me feel good about myself. So I continue to come back, and I I felt better and better, and I was able to do more within the clubhouse, and that really set me on the road towards getting back into the workplace.
Recently, just kept thinking about the standards, and especially the standard where you can leave the clubhouse for, you know, as long as you want, but when you come back, you can always reactivate and become a member again. And it applies to staff too, you know. I was welcomed back, and I was able to just kind of dive right back in.
I just kept coming back here, and pretty soon, between the 2 volunteer jobs, I started to realize that things weren't over. It wasn't over. This wasn't the end. But for a minute there, I thought it was the end. It felt like it was the end.
Just to see like the smiles on everyone's face when they do come in, and knowing that they do belong here, and that this is an extension of their family, and those relationships that I'm able to build with members, that rapport is so important. But it really comes down to actually caring about the people, and in turn they care about you as well. Every member comes in here with a different story, comes in here with a different goal for themselves of how they want to see themselves move forward in life.
It's been a life changer. If I didn't have the meeting place, I'd probably be at home or be depressed. And I love coming here. I love the members here. They're neat people. And I love all the activities and tasks we do.
When she came here, she got her first job. And so the clubhouse helped her to overcome that fear. And she found that she had a lot of talents in that area. She became a volunteer here. She got her first job through the TE program and learned some of those soft skills that you need to be aware of. And eventually, she actually was hired on as an employee here at the clubhouse. She's remained on medication, and she continued her college career, graduated, and she's now out of state teaching. She's a teacher, and she just started graduate school. So I consider the foundation that the Meeting Place gave her to have been really essential in her recovery.
I just wanted to make the contrast of the effect my mental health challenge had on my life at the worst of times, but now where I am in the best of times, and right now it's the best of times. At the warm line, at the meeting place, at my second job, with my daughters. I have a grandson. She's pregnant with my second grandbaby now, and I couldn't be in a better place.
Well, all I can say is that this particular clubhouse has been a life changer for me. And it's put me on the right track. And like I said, I always feel very positive and very outgoing because of the clubhouse. I mean, just coming here brightens my whole day.
But the best part is
I didn't give up.
No, and then some days you come when even you're sort of marginally symptomatic, and you know, everybody's so fabulous here. The staff is so understanding, and all the other members, you know, they know what it's like to have symptoms.
I've made a lot of good friends here.
I feel better when I come here because they're, you know, I made a lot of friends, and these friends have similar diagnosis as I do, so I don't feel like I'm, you know, out of place or whatever. I feel like I'm accepted.
And this place, I feel like I'm just at a clubhouse, like they call it, and I'm able to relax and be myself because they don't like allow judgment with anyone. And I've met people who you'd be like on the street, you'd be like, whoa, what's wrong with that person? And over here, it's like, it's not like that. Everybody is equal, and that's why I love it here. You meet people from all cross sections of society here, and it's like, wow, and that's what I love here. It's like no judgment, and it's like, wow, I can just be myself, my crazy self, and the members would tell you I'm crazy self, even the staff, but I love that. I get to be me, and that's my favorite part. It keeps me from my depression. That's why I'm here, like I was saying before. And It's just being myself. I just want to be me, and this is my place to be me. So
the reason why I keep on coming back is one is for like the socialization, because it really helped me from isolating, because that's what I have difficulty with, is isolation and having like a connection.
I think that social connections are critical to people's well-being, because we are social animals. We are pack animals. We're not animals like a cat who can be solitary. We need that connection. It feeds your soul, and it's just so important so that people don't isolate, that they don't feel alone. So the social connections are, I think, critical for everybody's well-being.
The clubhouse is my life. I feel that if it wasn't for the clubhouse, I may not be here today because of the struggles that I have been going through. So this is my, besides my blood family, this place is my family. The members are my family. Sharon is my family. She's like an older sister to me. I'm sorry. It's just that at the time everything was going on, I felt I lost, like I said before, I lost everything. And coming here, it's given me a repurpose of my life. Without this place, I feel I would not have a purpose in life.
I feel such a warmth when I walk through the door. I know I'm accepted and I belong here when I come. That's unusual for me. Normally I'm a very isolatory person, have been for years. So that's like a breakthrough for me. And it feels good. It just feels good to be here at the meeting place. And when and if I ever needed more support in my life, this is the first place I would come.
My life has been impacted in that it has, you know, the people that come through these doors, some of them are so inspiring. I was inspired to do better with my life, and I now have this pay position here on the warm line that I love so dearly. But I'm going to be leaving soon, probably just after the first of the year, January, February, something like that. I'm going to be retiring, and this place has just meant so much to me. It really has. I cannot speak enough words to satisfy how I really feel.
There's a lot more in my life now, and honestly, the programs here in San Diego, whether it's Impact or whether it's, you know, the meeting place down here, have been, you know, like the shot of adrenaline back in me, you know, to get me up. Because I'm not home any day of the week anymore. You know, I'm at work, or I'm with friends, or I'm watching my grandkids play, you know, soccer, you know, and those were things that I had given up on. You know, I'd kind of just given up on myself, and I'd given up on the fact that there was still a future out there, you know, and it really helped to get me moving in that direction, and just to get my mind working again, and get my mind off the things that I can't control, you know, and work more on things that I can.
I've really, you know, been privileged to be part of really amazing people's lives and their stories. And they all, I mean, sometimes when I think I know one of them, they will tell me something else again that you just go, oh my God, and you still manage every day to get up, put your clothes on, walk out that door, and come in here, and it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's so profound.
I think with medication and with coming to the clubhouse, it absolutely can work as a tool, you know, for recovery from mental illness. It just, having a sense of purpose and, you know, a reason to get out of bed is huge for people with depression. And that's, you know, the meeting place. I mean, it's not a fake purpose, it's a real purpose to keep this place going is extremely important for the people that come here and for the staff.
Like a lot of the members here, my life has taken a lot of different turns. And I think before I started working here, I was just making it. But I didn't think I would act like this, be like this.
It's all good. It's
But
okay.
coming here and meeting the members and being exposed to their lives and becoming a part of their lives changed me forever.
I want to say Clubhouse helped save my life.
Yeah,
It really did.
I'm grateful to Clubhouse. Having a place like this really,
I love it here.
That's
awesome.
It's meant so much to us
Yeah.
in our life.
I get excited in the morning. I'll be like, I'm going to work today, you know? Like,
Yeah, she calls at
Definitely,
work
yeah.
and she sees her friends here and she's learning about the receptionist position. So that's a lot to be said.
The only question I have for you is, what have you done today to make you feel better?